Hey guys, welcome back to Missildine Online, and instead of a daily dose today, we have the Q&A. Every Sunday, we are going to sit down and have a Q&A with questions that you guys pose to me and the rest of the community over here at Missildine Online, and we answer it. So today is the first episode. I'm excited to do this. Let's just jump in. So the first question comes from Alyssa Menendez, who asks, what is your favorite gaming device? An Xbox 360, One, PlayStation, handheld, etc. So here's the deal with this question. I actually think you asked two questions. So with the gaming device, I say that handhelds are separate. They are a gaming device, but I consider them different. So for me, the handheld is totally different, and my favorite handheld device is actually the DS, the Nintendo DS, the one that could also play Game Boy Advance games, because I actually play a lot of Game Boy Advance games and not so many DS games. I think I actually only have like 4 or 5 DS games, and I don't have a 3DS, or else I'm pretty sure I would fall in love with it. I also have a Vita and everything else, and I do enjoy the Vita, although there's just not enough games for it, really. As for a favorite gaming device, it's a toss-up, because I do love PlayStation 3, actually, is probably one of the consoles I've spent the most time with. Although I gotta say, I do love my PC too, if we're gonna talk about that as a gaming device. But again, those are so different. So I would say I love my PC, and then for another gaming device, I would definitely say a PlayStation 3, starting to be a PlayStation 4. PlayStation 2 was amazing, but that's for a different question. Thank you, Alyssa Menendez. You're fantastic. And finally, we have one more person who asked a ton of questions. We're going to answer all of them. That's going to be it for the day. But if you did ask questions, don't worry, they will be on the show. I actually just will put them on the backlog and we'll do them next Sunday. So let's look at Jack McLean, who says, for Q&A, how often is that coffee cup cleaned? Well, sir, I'll have you know that I have about 8 of the same mug. That black one, I have so many of them. So many. What happens when I give up but don't surrender? Well, sir, I think you're misunderstanding what it is to give up. If you give up, you're surrendering to whatever it is. So I'm basically reiterating the same idea at the end of every video. Never give up, never surrender. They're virtually the same thing. If you give up, it's kind of like whatever. If you surrender, you're literally handing yourself to somebody. Just a thought. Top 5 gaming trends for 2015. So this is the question that I'm a little confused by, Sir Jack McLean. Gaming trends, right? So I think we're going to be going in the way of, for 2015, top 5? I don't know. For me or for everyone? If you're talking about the industry as a whole, it's going to be launched a lot more towards season passes. I think one of the big gaming trends that we're going to see a lot of is season passes for DLC and a lot of other things that will be happening around basically having to sell DLC. The other thing is we're going to be seeing probably a lot more free-to-play games, a lot of paid-for games that you currently have to pay for. I think we're going to be seeing them go free-to-play real soon. Another gaming trend is, I think, in World of Warcraft, we're going to be getting to the point where it's going to be buying power at some point. The WoW token is virtually buying power. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that, and I'll actually do a separate video on how I think that is the WoW token is buying power, but I do think that's something that we'll start seeing a little bit more of in the industry too, is the idea of players being able to use real money to buy in-game currency, which then directly translates to power. That's not top 5, that's 3. So I'm trying to think of 4 and 5. I don't really know. I think we're going to see maybe a lot more paid-for advertising on YouTube to individual content creators. So a lot of companies are probably going to start reaching out. They already did, but we're going to start seeing a lot more reach out to YouTubers to cover their games, and they'll actually pay them for it. So we need to be careful of that, and hopefully all content creators have some full disclosure on that. And gaming trend number 5 is we're going to see Nintendo pushed out of YouTube. We're going to see a few people that really covered YouTube, Nintendo Capri Sun, Chugga Conroy, basically the Runaway guys, I think. And then I don't really think we're going to see much of Nintendo on YouTube anymore. At least I would hope not, because they've done some terrible business practices to the point that I'm not even supporting Nintendo anymore. I do love Nintendo, but I'm not going to buy any more of their things, any more of their devices or anything like that. I think they've done a big bad with this. They've virtually censored a huge portion of YouTube gaming, which is just awful. So that's it for the gaming trends. Ever feel like beauty vloggers are just better than us? Every day, Jack. Every day. So PlayStation 3 Poison Ivy versus PlayStation 4 Poison Ivy. Well, Jack, let me just tell you something straight up. The PlayStation 4 gives us a little bit more resolution so that we can see how beautiful she is and a little bit better of pixels. PlayStation 3, you're kind of missing out on the full beauty of Poison Ivy. So PlayStation 4. What gaming cities or regions would you like to visit? Anaheim, California is a big, huge one for me. I really want to go to BlizzCon at some point, and they also have a few other things that I want to see. I also want to see, like, the Blizzard headquarters, right? Because that looks like a beautiful building. And I also want to go to Tokyo at some point. Although I hate cities, so I don't really know how I'm going to feel about that. I don't know. And what happens when the camera turns off on the Daily Dose? Well, it turns off, and I usually probably do something stupid, like accidentally delete something that I needed, and then maybe have to re-record it. That happens every so often. Or it's right in the morning, so I usually turn off the camera and then go shower, and then while it's rendering, I'll go shower. I usually immediately edit Daily Dose, and then go shower, and then come back, and it's usually done, and then I upload it onto YouTube. That's it. That's what happens. That's all I do. And top tips for aspiring gaming YouTubers. My top tip would be, don't do the Daily Dose instead of gaming videos. No, my real top 10, or top tip, sorry, for aspiring gaming YouTubers would probably be to stay with it. To pick a genre or something that you can do. Well, actually, that's not even true. So the biggest tip that I think I can give gaming YouTubers, and something that I haven't followed at all on my channel, and that's because of the games that I enjoy playing, is don't pick games that have the same experience for all of the players, right? So don't really play an RPG, to be honest, because they're so scripted and they're so linear in a way that a lot of people aren't going to watch it. No one's going to look for it because they don't want to watch somebody else play the exact same story that they can experience on their own. And that's why other games like World of Warcraft and any MOBA really does well, because the games are consistently different. Everything is different depending on who you're playing as, who you're playing against, what you're doing in the game. I would pick something along those lines of something that constantly changes. Even Dark Souls was a really good example of that. As well as something like Minecraft, of course, because you can just build things. Even Destiny, although Destiny is a little different. Destiny doesn't really do that well on the... What is going on with my hair? Doesn't do that well on the story. What is happening? What is happening? I'm going to... Okay, sorry, hair messed up or something. I don't know. But Destiny doesn't really do that well on a story thing because the story is the same for everybody. The raids, class guides, tips, stuff like that is a little different and does better. So, if you're going to be doing Let's Plays and walkthroughs, I would try to lean towards games that change depending on what you're doing, or play them on a really hard difficulty, or something. That's basically a top tip that I can give. And consistency. Don't take a month off from YouTube. Honestly, any time off from YouTube is a death sentence. You can take a couple days, sure, but anything longer than a week, and you're virtually killing your channel. Happened to me. So I actually think we do have time for one more question. one more person. So Soldem says, for Q&A, how old are you? I'm 23. I'll be 24 in August. Do you have any pets? Yes, I do. I have 2 dogs. They're both chocolate labs. Excuse me. They're great. Coco and Bailey. I know, Coco, real creative for a chocolate lab. I also have 4 cats. I have a cat named Leia, who is beautiful. A cat named Chloe, who is, well, bitch. A cat named Pokey, who is the most masculine man I've ever met in my life, but he's a cat. And my other cat, Miru, who actually lives with my aunt, who is, her name used to be Stumpy when I rescued her, because she is short and compact and fat. But she's great, super cuddly. Those are my pets. What's your computer specs? Well, sold them bad. Bad specs. I have an HP Envy 14 laptop from 2010, so I have 4 gigabytes of RAM. 4 gigabytes of RAM. And the graphics card isn't that great. I don't actually remember what it is. I think it's a... I don't even remember what it is. But anyways, my specs are not good. I'm on Windows 7, obviously, because that's the only Windows that you need. And where do you live, Way City? I live in... I go to school at UMass Amherst, which is in Western Massachusetts, of course, in the United States. But I'm from Western Mass, basically. I kind of grew up in Western Mass, and that's where I'm from, which is to the west of Boston. I don't know why I explained that. Though, thank you so much, Alyssa Menendez, Jack McLean, and Soldem for your questions. So in next week's video, we will have, in the next Q&A I should say, we'll have 0-star gaming's questions, Freezing Factor Let's Plays, and A55 Hole Commenter, as well as Gaming Prodigy. Those are the 4 people that we will have, because they actually have fairly quick questions, so we'll have those 4 next Sunday. Thank you guys so much for your questions. You can keep sending them in either to the Twitter page, that's at Missildine Online, O-N-L-I-N, without the E. So it's Missildine Online without the E on Twitter, or you can go and like the Facebook page at just Missildine Online on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, never give up, never surrender.